Guys around the world and from the great beyond, welcome back to another installment of the Guy Stuff Podcast. I'm your host, Anthony Claiborne, joined by my brother from another mother, from the other side of the world, John the Redman Espy. Although he's not wearing his Redman hat today.
I'm not. I got my Cooper's meat products for all your good country pleasing sausage meat needs. Check out Cooper's Meat Packing in Florence, Mississippi. I don't know.
Well, there you go. Everybody hop in your vehicle right now and drive to the meat shack or whatever that place is.
It's like telling you, man, go look at the grocery store and get some country pleasing sausage. That's from my hometown. Well, my hometown, but that's where I spend a large majority of my time.
So like every dude actually does need like a butcher, you know.
Oh yeah, you gotta have some meat stuff.
Not that off the rack, like, just whatever out of the back. Like down the road here from us, we've got a couple of different places. One we typically go to is over in this place called Dunn, North Carolina. It's like Dunn. It's amazing, man. It's like organic, grass fed.
Oh man.
That's like the cows were, asked to lay down their lives versus, shocked to death. They whispered them into a hamburger.
However that works for you, man. Whatever works for you, brother.
I'm teasing.
You paying like $75 a pound for some massaged rump roast.
That's great. Like you leave the cow a tip. It's a new way of looking at tipping cows. Like actually tipping. So here's what's happening today. If you're watching online, if you're on YouTube watching this, you might be wondering, where's the third person? Like, why am I just looking at these two knuckleheads today? It is because today is another installment of the Guy Stuff Podcast Hall of Just Us.
It is Hall of Just Us again.
That's right. It's one of those fun, just kind of crazy episodes where John and I talk about some stuff that, from our life that kind of has impacted us. And first off, I have to apologize for the music episode because I listened to it and I felt like we sounded high.
Come on, man, open up. I think the cops saw me.
Dave's not here.
Open up the door. It's Dave.
For nothing, it's fine.
Dave.
We were not high.
We were not.
We're just that weird.
So, we were very tired, and we've already apologized for that. We fine. We all right.
Well, they might have missed that episode. So today we're going to jump in our DeLorean, as my friends on another podcast say, and take a ride back to the greatest decade of the 20th century, 1980 to 1989.
Woo,
movie
baby.
Edition. I feel
Hollywood,
like
baby, Hollywood.
I feel like there should be some echo there, like movie, or something. I don't know.
Yeah, we gotta have something like that. Have some action-packed, explosions.
Yeah, explosions. Like we'll edit that in after the fact, maybe. So here are our categories.
Oh yeah.
We're just gonna jump right in. I'm gonna hand it off to John. Our categories, just so you can follow along. All right. Horror. Number one is our most impactful horror movie from the 80s. It changed our lives.
It did.
Comedy. Our favorite comedy movie. Our favorite, what we're calling the Brat Pack movie. Remember those movies? We'll talk about that. Favorite action movie, which was tough because the 80s was all about action. Favorite sci-fi, which I'm gonna let John introduce a couple of things about the wholesome rules we put in place for ourselves to keep. And our favorite buddy movie, and then our embarrassing movie, like that is not really a Guy Stuff movie, but we really, really like it, and we're not ashamed to admit it.
I mean, we're kind of ashamed to admit it, but we're going to admit it anyway.
We are a little
ashamed. But
somebody will tell if we don't.
For our listeners and for our podcast, our Guy Stuff folks, we're gonna just lay it bare. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna lay it bare, lay it out there, and see what comes of it. We get made fun of. We get made fun of.
So what are the guidelines? We set 2 rules for ourselves. Tell me what our rules are.
So the guidelines is when we're talking about the 80s, right? We can't help but notice and help but to what's the word I'm looking for there? To put out there, to say, to confer, to to whatever you want to say there, that George Lucas pretty much owned the 80s, the same.
And ever since.
Yeah. But one thing we want to say is that Star Wars would hit every category. It hits your sci-fi, it hits your action, it hits the Brat Pack, and you forgot one category. We have the buddy movie category as well. I don't remember if we put that in there.
I think I forgot to mention that.
Yeah, they put it in there, man. See, that's what I'm here for, man. We catch each other's stuff,
That's right. We keep us straight. This is what is called accountability.
Exactly. So one of the things that we're going to be doing is we're taking out Star Wars off the table. We're just going to hands down say, you know what?
Because it's the best.
It is the quintessential late 70s to mid 80s.
Yep. Empire Strikes Back changed our lives.
Yeah.
I still remember seeing Return of the Jedi and Princess Leia for the first time as a young man.
Yeah.
That's all I'll say about that. That's all I'm gonna say about that. Those movies they changed us as young men, as kids.
Yes.
Indiana Jones.
Yeah.
We took it off the table because it's not even a contest.
Those are just all of them. None of until you got into the 2000s and you're like, oh my God, Lord, just stop making.
Yeah, Crystal Skull doesn't count. That's like fan fiction.
Exactly. That's like it's non-canonical. So
yeah. Ooh, look at you!
I know, man.
With the nerd bomb word that's non-canonical.
I know, nerding it up. We're actually one of the episodes we got to do, and this is what I'm really hoping to do is do a nerd geek out episode. Bring in some like D&D guys and some comic book guys, and I have a few of them that I know that are my buddies.
That would be pretty cool,
and we can have just a nerd fest and see what happens with it.
That would be interesting.
And we'll just nerd out, man. Just nerd the crap out. But anyway, so that's our criteria. No. George Lucas and him and Steven Spielberg collaborate. We can't have that because it's like super bands. You can't.
It's like a Batman, Superman.
Yeah, you can't.
Team up.
Yeah, you can't use those. So we're going to use those are off the table, and then everything has to be everything else is on the table except for those movies. Star Wars and Indiana Jones are off the table. So don't get mad at us.
There's the rules. Them's the rules, folks. We felt like we had to do that. So, John, right out of the gate, your horror movie. Your horror movie from the 80s. Your horror movie.
There's so many horror movies, and when I was a kid, because I was born in 1980, so the horror movie genre scared the piss out of me when I was a kid. Like I still probably up to like maybe 5-10 years ago would have nightmares where Jason is chasing me. I was so scared of chasing me. I was so scared of Jason Voorhees from Friday the 13th. But that's not my pick. That's
and
not my
hockey.
Pick. What's that? Yeah, hockey.
And hockey.
Yeah. It's anyway. So, the I didn't pick Friday the 13th because I never really got to watch it because I would come in on little parts of it on my brothers.
Because it still scares him.
It still does. I'm like, I don't want to watch that. So I never really watched a lot of it. So I didn't really, I can't really critique it. And so I will say that. So what I did pick was a horror movie that I got to watch when I was a kid, and I loved it. And that was Aliens.
That's it, man. Game over, man. It's game over.
1986 was when Aliens come out. Amazing movie. You had space marines like shooting stuff. You had the intense, stinking aliens coming through, and they got the little motion trackers and it's beeping and it's throwing you around. Man, it was a whirlwind of emotions and a mixture of movies that made it just like go. That was amazing. It just made you feel like you were scared when they started beeping. And so,
What I don't understand, I've never understood, like, with the whole Alien franchise, like, is you see this weird egg-looking thing, and you're like, your first thought is to, let's poke this.
Yeah.
Let's see what this is. I know we're in outer space, and we've never encountered anything like this before, but hey, what could possibly go wrong?
See.
Wait a minute, this movement. Seems to have life. Organic life.
See, I watched that, like, Prometheus, right? I watched Prometheus, and I'm like, why would you, like you said, be out there in this field of eggs and let something attach to your face? I mean, just stuff like that just doesn't make sense to me. Doesn't make sense to me. I mean, I guess it makes sense in the script. It was in the script, so they had to do it. But it just means that it was really, really dumb why they do that. But that's why I did like Aliens, because it was not this like, oh, I'm gonna do something stupid. It was like, oh, there's something happened. These stupid colonists got killed. Now we got to go see what happened to them. So there was like the plot was a little bit more believable, or not believable, but more engaging, or you had to suspend disbelief. Suspend belief a little less.
That happens a lot, especially in the horror movie genre. I feel like the first movie is like, okay, I get that. Some colonists kill. We go investigate that. Alien, ooh, I get it. But then it's like, because, you guys are probably aware of this, movie makers are in it to make money.
No.
I know, right? That's why there's like Friday the 13th, part 13, because they figure out, hey, people like the characters, we can keep bringing them back, and it just about, like, the story doesn't even matter anymore. They're just happy to have the characters back. And so but what it spawns is like this thing where you're watching the movie and you're like, who would actually do that? Like especially in the horror movie genre, for me, I'm like, who does that? Who goes back? Who I don't understand.
See, that's one thing we're going to talk about. Even when we get to the 2000s or teens of 2000s, horror movies. There's a movie out that I love, and it's called Cabin in the Woods. It's by Joss Whedon, is the director of that, and it was an amazingly done horror movie. But it pokes fun at all the reasons why horror movies exist. And it's pretty meta. It's really neat. I really, really enjoy it. It's one of my favorite horror movies. So if you hadn't got a chance to that, go watch that. And that is an amazing
Check it out.
Cabin in the Woods. All right. What's yours, Anthony?
So this was hard. This was very difficult. In fact, John and I talked about this before the program.
Yeah.
If we were in the 70s, my favorite horror movie would have been Jaws.
Yeah. Because
it changed the way I viewed swimming pools and the bathtub.
Oh, yeah.
The only way I got over it was some exposure therapy. I actually read the novelization while sitting in the bathtub.
Really? Wow.
Yeah.
How'd it go for you? Like, did you pee yourself a little bit? You pee in the bathtub?
A little bit. Just a little. But the
a little bit. That's
fine. But I settled on, for my favorite horror movie from the 80s, because for a number of reasons. Because for me, like, slasher films are not scary to me.
Yeah.
Like Nightmare on Elm Street, it was interesting, but it wasn't really scary to me. Even like Friday the 13th, those kind of films never scared me back in the day. They were so almost unrealistic. But I grew up in a very strict church, afraid of the devil.
Some
right?
Jesus-ness.
That's right.
Some
So
demons coming in.
anything like related to like, you know, that kind of thing scared me a lot. And so for me, and it's still actually, you like how I'm like just leaning up, so I'm like pulling them in. I'm just pulling them in. They're like, say it, just say it.
What is
just
it?
say what it is.
What is it,
But
Anthony?
this movie, to this day,
Yeah.
to this day, I still use phrases from this movie, John.
You pee a little bit when you say
the things I learned from this movie and joke about it. And it would be Poltergeist.
Great. Great movie. Great movie.
And specifically, even more than one, Poltergeist 2 got me.
I never really saw
all messed up.
I never saw Poltergeist 2. I mean, I probably saw bits and pieces of it. I remember the old tall dude, but I never saw the whole thing, man. I mean, the whole thing of 2. 1 was good. Like, I love the premise of 1. I really liked it. The one thing I didn't like about 1.
Changed how you view TV forever.
Yeah, like when the fuzz is on, you're like, I ain't staring into that. I'm staring at Satan's eyes. And so, but that's one of the things that I didn't like about it, and it lost some of its mystery at the end when the thing was like, coming out. I was like, that made me go, it was a really, I mean, up to that point was really good, but then they revealed what the demon or whatever it looked like. It was just weird, But
no, well, it ruined it. Here's what it did. Like, up until that point in my life, I thought that if I lived in a ghosty house, all I had to do was move. And Poltergeist 2 comes out, and I'm like,
yep.
What?
It's following you.
They be following me?
Mm-hmm.
Is that how that works?
Mm-hmm.
But it created all these things. Like, sometimes I would jokingly say to, like, when I used to be a teacher, a kid who really was like, not there, they were zoned out. I might actually say to them in class, how PC is this? I would say, step into the light, Carol Ann. Like, come back to us. We need you. All right. So that, and I'll say things like, I'll see a price of a piece of real estate, and then it'll be really just too good to be true. And I'm like, I've seen how this movie ends. I'm like, I wonder if that's like built on a Native American burial ground. I'm like, I don't know, man.
Yep.
I don't know.
My question is, why everything that's haunted got to be built on a Native American like ground? Like, why is that always the pretense of everything? Watch any like,
it's kind of racist if you ask me.
I mean, yeah. Why couldn't it be like some white dudes that was just like, just had a burial ground, like a bunch of Methodists or something out there that was just had you built it on the first Methodist church of
Methodist burial ground. All right, Methodist friends, don't throw shade at us.
I mean, if you want to,
that'd
it's
be pretty
fine.
funny.
It would be hilarious. I mean, like, that's what we should do. Make a Christian version of Poltergeist.
Be sprinkling them.
It's just sprinkling them around. But yeah, why couldn't you have some, Poltergeist off of that? Why is it gotta be always the Indian burial grounds?
Do you know what the word poltergeist means?
It means what, angry spirit or noisy spirit or something like that.
Noisy spirit, yeah. Noisy spirit is German. Poltergeist. Everything German sounds like, angry.
It does.
Silent night, still.
And the one listener we have from the podcast in Germany is like, I will never listen to this again.
Thank you for listening from Germany.
We do thank you for listening from Germany.
Go Borussia Dortmund.
I don't know what that means, but
only the soccer people out there understood that. Both
Lord, we own movies, man. We own movies. We ain't on soccer. Stop talking about the soccer. Nobody cares. It's America. It's America. Nobody cares about soccer. It's America. Well, I mean, I'm Thailand, but you know what I'm saying. You get the point.
You're Italian. You're just mad because of what our women did to the Thai team.
Man, I don't watch it. Did you see
what they did? It was awful. It was like 13-0 or something. Man, like it was a softball score.
I don't know. I don't watch it. I can't get in the soccer. I went and watched one live soccer game, and I was like, these are the most actingest fools I've ever seen in my life. They're just falling over for no reason. Like the Arab brothers are like, And you're
It
like,
is. Look, even as
what
a
is
fan,
wrong
that
with
frustrates me,
you're like,
and I hate that so much. I do.
this,
When I used to coach, I never I did not allow that garbage on my
it's
teams.
dumb. It's dumb, man. It's like, wow, just get off. And everybody clapping. Like, oh,
Get up. Just get up.
he got up. Oh, he ain't hurt. He acting.
Speaking of
Anyway,
acting,
yeah.
Next.
What? Well, no, we ain't. I ain't getting off Poltergeist because that is the reason why.
Oh, you're not done.
I ain't done with
talk to me.
Poltergeist, man. I ain't
Sorry.
So
My
you talk
bad.
about that. You talk about that moving thing, right? So one of the reasons why like movies like hurt, like get us, is because we kind of connected to it, right? And one of the reasons why I liked Poltergeist, we got connected to Poltergeist, is because every house I lived in until I got, really walking with Jesus was haunted. Every single one of them.
Maybe it was you.
I don't know, maybe, but it was every one of them. Like we were in the house I grew up in. You hear walking all night, and I remember like one time I was laying in the living room like sleeping, and I woke up and there's like this big like squirrely looking like ball of darkness above the ceiling. I was like, oh Jesus. And I heard like people say my name in my bedroom and stuff. It was crazy, right? And so that's where I grew up. And then it just kept going. Like we had all kind of stuff happen. When me and Christy got married, and every house I lived in,
That's always what happens when you live in Mississippi, guys.
This was in Mississippi, this was in Virginia and North Carolina.
Oh, Virginia's whack. I love Virginia, but there'd be some whack stuff happening in houses in Virginia. I live in Virginia.
Man, we was in a townhouse. Well, Christy was living in Norfolk, and I was down in North Carolina in Jacksonville. And we'd go up and see each other every weekend. And she had a little townhouse. We had a little townhouse up there, and we had a 2-bedroom townhouse. One bedroom was like everybody that stayed there, and as a like a guest, and my little sister and might come stay with her, was like, this just feels weird, like, and it felt like nasty, like just oppressive when you walked in there. And you went inside the closet there and looked, and there's like all this drawing inside the closet, which would be not weird if it's a kid's room, but on the outside there's a lock on the door of the closet. So it's like somebody locking their kids in the closet, and they draw in, and
Dude,
like
that is jacked up.
And in that room, there was like you always see something moving in there. Like you cross the hallway, there was always something coming down the stairs. You hear walking up and down the stairs all night. It was stuff would move. Christy would saw somebody like come in and sit down on the couch next to her, and nobody's there. It's just, so that was just the continual pattern until we got to really walking with the Lord. And then when that happened, that really kind of, stopped all that nonsense. But
we lived in a couple of places like that. I won't take a lot of time, but like when we first got married and we moved to Virginia, we lived in a house that the original owner committed suicide.
Ooh.
And lights would come on and off. Lights would come on and off. I'm not kidding. The TV would cut on and off.
Mm-hmm.
My brother came and stayed and said he heard somebody walking. I was there by myself one time, and the TV kept cutting on and off. And I literally said out loud, I was like, "Look, dude, you're just annoying me.
Don't be talking.
Stop.
Stop it. Jesus.
Stop it now. Stop it.
In the name of
Jesus.
Jesus.
Watch Katie Couric. In the name of Jesus, I'm trying to watch Katie Couric. Stop it."
I ain't talking those things, man.
The last house we lived in Virginia, when we were up there a few years ago as part of a church plant team, the dishwasher would come on during the night by itself. And I had it checked. I had it checked. I had all this. I had the electrical checked, everything. No one could find anything, but it kept coming on during the night by itself. And in fact, it became the running joke. It was like, homie, if you're gonna run the dishwasher, you need to empty it.
It's take it out. You're done,
yeah. But we found out just a few months before we moved, a friend was over at the house. There was a lady who had lived in that house who had been murdered. Man,
I'm telling you, like some crazy stuff.
I'm moving back to North Carolina. It's less crazy.
Well, not like we were down in Mississippi, right? And so we found this little small house. It was a 1-bedroom house out in the middle of the woods. It was amazing. Loved our little house. 3 acres.
Go wrong?
It was great. We loved it. And was never had any kind of issues, no kind of weird stuff, no kind of weird feelings, nothing like. It was wonderful. Loved it. Still love that house, right? Come to find out about right when we were getting ready to sell it, or we're getting ready to leave. We were going to sell it. We were getting ready to leave to come to Thailand probably about a year before that. Found found out there was a girl killed in it just by Satanists. 2 Satan worshipers came and killed her.
What in the world?
Yeah.
What's wrong with these people?
In the house, and nobody bothered to tell me that there was somebody killed in his house. Nobody told me
That's actually
nothing.
against the law. Like, their real estate laws are that you actually have to divulge that, stuff like that has happened in a house.
Well, they didn't divulge nothing to me. And because I was like, and we're kind of mad, but like, why y'all tell us this? We love our house. But then we got like, and we ain't nothing weird happening. So that's when we were walking with the
house in
Lord.
Virginia,
So.
we knew.
Yeah,
we actually
really?
knew it. What happened was, we moved up there to be part of a church staff and teaching at Christian school, and we was po. We was real po. But we knew how to do some stuff around the house, and this house was sitting empty, and it was right across the street from the church. It was a 2-story. It was like one of those in Virginia that's so popular. Got like that bi-level where you walk in, you got stairs to go up and stairs to go down. And found out the dude who owned it. We found him, and everybody that lived around it told us, like, the original owner committed suicide. I mean, just so you know, the original owner committed suicide. And so they told us after Sherry walked in and said the place felt weird, and she asked what was up. But the way we ended up with it, it was like a almost 3,000 square foot house, dude. But they couldn't rent it to nobody because it was kind of like in disrepair. Yeah. Like a lot of stuff needed to be done. So we made a deal with them that we would do all the work. Like, we did all the painting, we repaired all that kinds of stuff and did some really cool stuff to the house. And we lived in it for 2 years rent free.
Oh, that's nice.
But that was our payment, was we did all the work.
Yeah.
And so,
that's really the making of a horror movie in itself. Right there. That's like, young family comes into disrepaired house. Oh, honey, we're going to make this. I can't wait for the kids' room. Little do they know.
I know. What were we thinking, man? We're just like, I don't know what we were thinking. But it was weird, man. It was a weird house to live in. I'm not going to lie. It was a weird deal. But, I think if you haven't lived in a house that makes you feel weird, have you really lived?
Yeah. And that's why Poltergeist made your list, because it connected with you. It connected with me. So let's move on to our next category. There, Anthony. What's
comedy? Next category is comedy, but I think it's actually you. I think you're up to share your.
Okay.
Shared Poltergeist.
All right. So my comedy. There's so many comedies in the 80s. There's amazing comedies, and
it was a hilarious decade.
It was the golden age, I think, of comedy, right? Of comedy and action, probably the 2 best. All the movies that come out of it. I will say the comedy seems to have aged better than the action did. The action didn't age as well as the comedy. The comedy still is hilarious. And they can get away with so much. It's to now, like, half the movies that were made in the 80s, late 70s and 80s could never be made today. And that's a sad, sad thing, because they were hilarious. And one movie that was just, as I was a kid, I remember laughing, and still when I watch it now, I just laugh. And Chrissy's like, "Why are you laughing at this?" I'm like, it's just part of whatever. And of growing up in that time, and it's Coming to America with Eddie Murphy, Arsenio Hall. Yeah, that is that movie. There's so many great one-liners from it. There's so many great scenes.
Randy Watson.
That boy is good.
Good and terrible. And Reverend Brown. 2 years for the Reverend. This man's been my Reverend since I was a little boy, and I love him dearly. You're a very special man. Reverend Brown. Reverend Brown. It feels so lovely to be here tonight. What a beautiful audience. Give yourselves a round of applause. You're so lovely. Everyone's so lovely. And while you're in the clapping mood, I'd like to give a big round of applause to my band, Sexual Chocolate.
So many great, just stuff that is so relevant today. And like you can say it now. I mean, it's hilarious. You can't say Sexual Chocolate without somebody just, you can't say it without having the image come in your mind. You can't do it.
Oh my gosh, that is such a good one, man. There's so many wonderful elements to that movie. It's not even funny. I mean, from James Earl Jones,
Oh yes, the King
Darth
of Zamunda.
Vader
The
is
King of
king. I mean,
Zamunda.
he does not age. I flipping love that dude.
Yeah, yeah.
He is like the man. Like
He is.
I love that guy. You know, the apartment. I love that. Like they where they
Oh
redo
yeah.
the apartment to their standards. You know, their
Yeah.
kingly, these princely standards. Just Eddie Murphy. Like it was. I mean, look, we gotta be real. I mean, he had a mouth on him,
Oh
but
yeah.
he was comic genius,
Man,
man. I mean, just genius.
The 80's was his year, his decade, man. Like he owned it. Like there was nothing come out in the 80's with him in it that wasn't just hilarious. He was just a comedic genius back in that day, and just hilarious. And I think even more so, and maybe because Richard Pryor was more the 70's, but I think in my mind, I think Eddie Murphy's was probably funnier or bigger than Richard Pryor in lots
Absolutely,
of ways.
I would agree. Did you know that Bill Cosby gave Eddie Murphy a lot of grief back in the day?
Oh yeah, that if you watched Delirious, the stand up act by Eddie Murphy, he talks about it, and
Yeah.
not in a real good light. And so,
No, but then turns out Bill Cosby was like, that's one of the saddest things from the 80's to me.
yeah,
Like, we all loved the Cosby Show, and like we learned a lot of what we learned about being a father from
oh yeah,
watching Heathcliff Huxtable.
mm-hmm.
And it turns out my man was a creeper.
He
Man,
is like
that
just
is
nasty.
messed up.
Man, it is crazy. It is crazy, like how that works, and yeah, it is just it's very very disgusting. And like you
What
said, like but does it? And this is a question. It's a controversial question here. Does it taint does it taint your ability to watch the Cosby Show?
it taints a lot of people's ability because they should have pulled that thing from syndication.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't know, man. I mean, it was so good.
yeah,
Like our kids, even as little kids, would watch the Veggie Tales and the Cosby Show DVDs. Like they were raised on that.
Yeah, and I go, it is
they
horrible.
turn out okay.
Exactly. I mean, because the show, I was saying, is like the show, the art can be separated from the man, and that's what I can look at and go, because he was a scumbag, right? That was just a scumbag, but he had he helped a lot of people, and he did a lot of good things, but behind the scenes, still a scumbag. But but the art that is the Cosby Show was amazing, and like that, like you said, it taught so much. It gave such a glimpse into the middle class or upper class black families, and when you didn't see that portrayed on TV except for them. It was like this it was a really amazing show on so many levels, from race relations to family care to whatever. It was just a really good show, and so I love to watch it now. It's like
I would even say it spawned that came in the mid to late 80's rather, that whole series of black themed shows. Like even obviously you had the spinoff with a different world, which I loved.
Oh yeah.
Then you get like I would even say you don't get like Martin without the Cosby Show, which is amazing. We need to do a show about our favorite like shows too. You don't get what was the other one? Living Single, and shows like that. So yeah, it was good stuff, man. I almost, for my comedy, it was on the bubble. I almost did an Eddie Murphy movie as well, as we talked about. I was very heavily leaning towards The Golden Child, which has the most amazing CGI. And
it's wonderful.
I'm kidding. Yeah, it's a wonderful CGI at the end.
I want the knife.
Yes, good. That's fantastic. But that was almost mine. But it did not It did not make it to the end.
Mm.
In the end, and ironically, to go back to our chat a while ago when we were talking about horror movies, my favorite comedy movie came out in June of 1984. Ghostbusters.
Oh yes.
Who you gonna call? Ghostbusters. And I think for me, what makes that movie is Bill Murray. I mean,
oh yeah.
Without Bill Murray, that movie is okay at best.
Come in, Ray.
Pinkman! I saw it!
It's right here, Ray. It's looking at me.
He's an ugly little spud, isn't he?
I think he can hear you, Ray.
Don't move. It won't hurt you. What happened? Are you okay?
He slimed me.
That's great.
Bill Murray, though, I would say what made the movie for me was probably the interaction between his character and Sigourney Weaver's character.
Really?
Yes. See, Sigourney Weaver, obviously a lot of guys who grew up in the 80s thought she was very attractive.
Yeah.
But just, it was almost like you could tell that she thought he was legit funny.
Yeah.
If you go back and watch the movie, you can almost see her trying to not laugh at him.
Yeah.
And see that tension. But you can almost even say Ghostbusters is like a good buddy movie too, because you've got this group of guys. I mean, what's more gosh stuff than that, right? This group of guys come together around a cause
to make money capturing ghosts.
Somebody's got to do it, right?
Who you gonna call?
Who you gonna call? Really?
Well, I tell you, the interesting thing about that movie, like if you're interested in paranormal stuff and weird stuff and sci-fi, like I am, I've always been. My dad was into it stuff, and so anyway,
John is paranormal.
I am. I'm a little bit paranormal. There is like Dan Aykroyd wrote that movie based on I don't remember how he said it, was based on basically his grandfather was like this paranormal researcher guy back in the 40s and 30s and stuff. And he lived in this old haunted farmhouse. And so that what's made him want to write the movie, the screenplay for it. And you actually can listen to it. If you listen to Joe Rogan podcast, you can go listen to him, Dan Aykroyd, talk about it, like writing it and stuff like that. And then, and so it was like a really interesting way of how it came about, how Dan, went about writing that and went about coming up with it, with the characters. It's really cool. It's really interesting. And I'm excited about the new one.
I also understand that, yeah, me too. Actually, the trailer for that looks really amazing. I mean, really good.
Mm-hmm.
But if I remember correctly, when he wrote it, he also wrote it for him and Belushi to do.
Yeah.
And then Belushi passed away.
Yeah.
And so I think perhaps, Bill Murray's character probably was originally intended to be Belushi, because I can kind of see some parallels between the two of them. But Murray he's a funny dude, man. I mean,
he is.
Caddyshack was almost there for me, like,
That's one thing I like Bill Murray stuff. I like his kind of like quiet humor that's there. I like that kind of thing. But I never really got into Chevy Chase humor. I liked him on, of course, National Lampoons. That was that one I liked.
Christmas Vacation.
Yeah, those I like the National Lampoons series with him in it. But that's about it. Like Fletch was okay, I guess. Fletch Lives, but it never really got into his comedy. But Bill Murray seemed to kind of like he had enough mildness to it that he was still funny, but he kind of could play a lot of different roles and a lot of different things.
He was transcendent.
Yeah. There you go, man. There you go. And I tell you, like, Another guy in Ghostbusters, I really love Dan Aykroyd. Dan Aykroyd was a really funny guy. I love Dan Aykroyd stuff. He's a funny guy.
One of the things that makes him so funny is you look at him and think this guy's not going to be funny.
Yeah. Yep.
He looks like he's there to sell you a vacuum cleaner.
The Bassomatic is what we're trying to sell you.
Yeah, the Bassomatic.
Yes, fish eaters, the days of troublesome scaling, cutting, and gutting are over. Because Super Bassomatic 76 is the tool that lets you use the whole bass with no fish waste without scaling, cutting, or gutting. Here's how it works. Catch a bass, remove the hook, and drop the bass. That's the whole bass into the Super Bassomatic 76. Now adjust the control dial so that bass is blended just the way you like it.
Yeah, the Bassomatic. Oh my gosh, that took me back.
Oh yeah,
no, I saw that, man.
Yeah.
The Bassomatic. Oh my gracious, that's fantastic. That is a throwback, man. I remember the first time I ever saw SNL back in the late 70s. We were staying with every summer for several summers in a row to stay with my uncle, and they lived in this place called Poquoson, Virginia. And it was so funny because they would have this really big jar of Starburst, and on day one I'd pretty much eat all the red Starburst. Day two I'd eat all the pink Starbursts. Day three I would eat all the orange Starburst. So by the time I left, all that was left was the yellow Starburst.
The nasty Starburst.
I know they hated to see me coming, but I was, my sister and brother are older than me. My brother's 7 years older than me. My sister's 10 years older than me. And their two boys were close to their age. They all stayed up to watch SNL. And my sister and brother let me sneak out of bed and come hang out with the big kids and watch SNL. It was the first time ever I saw Debbie Harry. Blondie. She was performing in what appeared to be a trash bag. You can look it up. It's on YouTube. I guarantee it.
I'm all right. I'm good.
That was my first experience with Saturday Night Live, and I was like, what is this sight that I'm experiencing?
Saturday Night Live was an interesting thing. I think the 80s, 70s, 80s Saturday Night Live was hilarious. And then you get the Chris Farley and Adam Sandler branch, which was good. And then it just got crap. It just became just crap. I hadn't even watched a SNL episode in probably 15 years.
Well, we don't watch secular media.
Oh yeah.
We only watch films by PureFlix and James Dobson.
Exactly.
So that brings me to the Brat Pack. That was my comedy. The next one is our Brat Pack, and this is like the groups of people, the group young people movies. John, what was yours, man?
I gotta go with the quintessential Brat Pack movie of the 80s, which is what Stranger Things is based off of, The Goonies.
Join your friends, you wiggles. Chuck! How'd he get out?
That has to be the most quintessential Brat Pack adventure, teen angst and coming of age 80s movie there is. It has all the elements in there, and it's a great cast that's still around. And so, I think for my Brat Pack, it's going to be The Goonies.
I have a confession to make.
What's that?
And this is crazy.
You have a crush on Samwise Gamgee.
Dang it. Yeah, you were supposed to tell everybody that.
My bad. Nobody's listening. Sorry.
I grew up in the 80s. It was the formative years of my life. I've never seen The Goonies all the way through.
What in the... Anthony, man, what... Lord, heaven, help me be with me, Jesus.
I've never seen it all the way through.
Why have you not? What's the last part you saw of it? What you remember seeing of it?
I remember something about a boat. That's all I remember, about something about a boat. Is there a boat in it? I don't.
Yes,
that's all I
at
remember.
the end of it is a boat.
That's all I remember. I just didn't see it. I don't know what happened. I didn't see it, and one thing led to another, and it just became embarrassing to admit.
It should be embarrassing. You should feel very embarrassed, and maybe seek counseling, because you never have heard. I've seen one of the greatest movies of all time.
Oh man, that's way down the list of things I need to seek counseling for.
Well, yeah, but I'm saying is that's one of them. That's one of them. Because it is such a great movie. It is amazing. And
seems like it changed your life.
It did. I mean, because you had so many, like, they had that adventure, like you want, like everything could be. That's something I think about, like when I think back to the 80s of my childhood, is like everything could be an adventure. Everything, right around the next corner could be an adventure, and that's just that whole kind of feeling of it. And that's what I really loved about it, was that feeling of adventure, that you can just get normal everyday life can all of a sudden become an adventure. And that's what I really enjoyed.
You hit on something. You have hit on something, my friend. Two things. One, you're 100% right. Like, I remember growing up and everything was an adventure. My cousin and I were 8 days apart, and we spent like so much time in the woods, just roaming around. Kids I don't think do that anymore, really, because they might get ticks or something.
Get Lyme disease.
Yeah, my goodness, stay out of the woods. It's not GMO. So we would do that, and we were just like waiting for like this. We'd go in old houses that we thought were spooky on farms and stuff. And so, but I think that maybe the reason, if we're looking at it from an existential standpoint, the reason that movie speaks to you, it speaks to that desire for adventure that every man has. Men have a strong desire for adventure. I would even say that's why Ghostbusters, as my comedy, appeals to me, is because it's an adventure. It's a problem to solve. It's a group of guys get together, they see a problem like the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man, and they solve. Which they caused. Well, there's a whole nother level of conversation we could have right there too. but yeah, that's good stuff. Brat Pack, The Goonies. I tell you what I'm gonna do, John. I'm gonna find it and I'm gonna watch it.
Watch it, man.
The Goonies.
I would beg to say you probably have seen all of it and just don't remember seeing all of it.
Maybe
when it gets to the end, you go, "Oh, I remember that now." Okay, yeah.
It's just probably been so long. I mean, I don't know, because that was a long time ago.
Yeah, it was a long time ago, man. It's. I mean, it is a really, really. I mean, it's a really good movie. I really, really like that movie. I let my kids watch it a million times, and so it's a really good movie. Goonies is the quintessential Brat Pack movie.
Well, my Brat Pack film, I have no problem remembering, because I probably watch it at least once a year. And the way I'm going to introduce it is this way. I'm not going to say the name. I'm just going to say Bueller.
He's sick. My best friend's cousin's boyfriend's uncle's girlfriend know this kid and know this guy who saw Ferris pass out at 31 Flavors last night.
That was beautifully done. Dude, I love that movie so much. And when I was a teacher, I actually would do that. Like, if I asked a question and there was like a pregnant pause in the air and nobody was answering, I would actually start going, Bueller.
And all the kids looked like you were crazy. Like, what the crap is Bueller? There's no Bueller in here.
Who is that? What is that talking about? Ferris Bueller's Day Off, man, is so flipping good for so many reasons. And looking back, oh my gosh! First off, like, it is the tourist guide to Chicago.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, you literally can go there and like tour all the places. Which when I went to Chicago back last fall, we wanted to do that, but we just didn't have time. But we did go to the Home Alone house. I'll talk about that when we get over to the 90s. I have picture and video. These people live in it. But anyways, so just, I don't know, man, there was something about that. Like you wanted to
be Ferris.
Yeah, well, you did. You wanted to be Ferris. I mean, who didn't want to be Ferris? But there was a deeper level to this movie.
Mm.
You know, they're about to graduate.
Yeah.
And you know, when you are in high school, you think that is all life is ever going to be.
Yeah.
You think that these people that you see every day are the most important people in your lives, and you don't realize that 10 years from that point, you won't know where they are and probably won't care.
Yeah, it's true.
So there's this moment in time, you know, it's like a snapshot. It's just, there's something sweetly sad
Yeah.
about like the portions of the movie, like where they're standing there looking out over Chicago, their faces pressed up against the glass, and they're in the museum and they're looking at the pointillism art, and you know, it keeps getting in tighter and tighter and tighter to the tiny dots. There's something sweetly sad about this movie. There really is, and they actually talked about making a sequel to this, which, to be honest, with Ferris,
They should
I'm
not.
so glad they did not.
They should not
Some
do that.
things need to be left alone. You know, you cannot make a sequel to everything. Dagnabbit, get a grip on yourself.
Let it go, man.
Just let it be like Elsa and let it go. But we quote this. The stuff from this movie is in our vernacular. Like, for example, even somebody will be trying to get me to do something, and I'll start going, "He'll keep calling.
He'll keep calling. Difficulty. I'll do it.
Yes. And you know, when I'm sick, sometimes I'll be laying there retching on the sofa, and I'll be like, when Cameron was in Egypt land, like that. I'll do that deal, and you know, I'll say things like, you know, I just want to go home and I'm just gonna lay here and lick my palms.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like, I mean, there's just so many things from this movie, and if you like, I really love the houses in these movies from the 80s.
Really?
Like the decor and stuff, you know, because like I don't know, there's something, it takes me back, man.
Well, see,
takes me back.
That's the thing. Like, talking about houses, interesting you said that, because like I did like love all those houses, like the house in Ferris Bueller, and all, like, man, these houses are huge and stuff. Because I mean, but I never could relate to it. I always wanted to live in a big house. I live in a trailer, and so I grew up. Big shock. I grew up in a trailer. But
I didn't live in a big house either.
Yeah. So, but it was like, that was one of the things I couldn't relate to, but I always wanted to like go, man, that would be really neat to, my thing was have a 2-story house. Like, how amazing would it be to live in a 2-story house? Oh my, that would be amazing. You know, but it, like I said, I get this, it does, there seems to be something around like houses in the 80s movies. There's like, the house is almost a character in itself.
It is. Well, it's the last generation, for one thing, that they actually put real wood trim up.
Yeah.
I mean, really, like if you live in a house today, you know, that's been built in the last 30 years, most likely the trim, your baseboards and your door casings and stuff, is that kind of like press wood. It's not like the trim, and this is manly stuff we talking now. But the trim in these houses was like real wood, with like layers of oil paint on it.
Yeah.
And I don't know, man. There was just like, there's something about just that whole decade, and it was I guess maybe it's because it was a decade of excess.
Maybe. I think it's. I mean, that was Ferris Bueller was an amazing movie that had a smaller Brat Pack, you know, but it was still good. In that sense,
whatever happened to that girl that played in it?
I don't know, man. Whatever happened to her? Like, she was fine. Like, that was like one of my.
Are we allowed to say that on the Guy Stuff podcast?
Hell yeah, because it's Guy Stuff, man. Everybody knows she's fine. If you grew up in the 80s, you look at Sloane was like, man, I want to date Sloane because she hot. She had that look, that friend, that white jacket with the frilly things hanging off of it, man. She was hot. She was tight.
That's
Chick was
hilarious.
bad,
She was a
man.
very attractive young lady.
Chick was bad.
Let's see. Let's see what she's doing now. I'm curious.
She
The
probably
last,
a cokehead. She probably got like meth mouth and just
you ain't even right.
like
If you
some liver spots.
if you look at her filmography,
Yeah.
the last thing she played in was something called Pretty Pretty in 2013, and she played Narcissus. Television, yeah, Narcisse. And then her TV, The Witches of Oz. She was on something in 2011, but she hasn't really, doesn't look like, done a lot since. It's like she kind of peaked on Ferris Bueller's Day Off. But to be fair,
that's when the cocaine started. That's when the cocaine started.
She does not say anything about cocaine in her story, man. You ain't even right, man. But in fact, it doesn't really say a lot about her personal life, which, that's cool. It's her personal life. But she probably, I mean, the reality is she's still getting paid.
Do you think that? I don't think they
Lord,
get.
yes.
It's
called royalties, homie.
But I don't think them jokers getting like I don't think you ain't getting royalties off. Like, actors aren't getting royalties. I think they just get paid like a lump sum. Most of them. Like,
nah, man, we got it. There's no way.
Any actors out there that are listening to the podcast? We know 3 of you. And one of y'all message us. Let us know, like, how do actors get paid? Of course, if you're like in a low budget, you're getting a one-time fee on there. We understand that, but like big name, big thing, like they get royalties. I don't think they do. I think all that goes to. I think all that just goes to the production company, to the film house or whatever they're doing. So that's what I think. We need to look that up.
We need to know. We need to know. Inquiring minds want to know.
Exactly.
So that takes us. We're leaving the Brat Pack films. That takes us into the action films. John, what was your? And this was tough, man. This was really tough. Yeah. Your action film.
Yeah. See, this one's tough. This one I have to look at. I have to. I had one up, and so I need to put it. I got to put 2 of them up, maybe. I don't know. Anyway, my action movie. From there's a couple action movies I have, and I'll have to say, it was one of them. I'm gonna have to change though, because it was Heartbreak Ridge. That was my number 1, right? That was Clint Eastwood, an amazing action movie about Marines. Made me want to be a part of it. Made me want to be a Marine. I actually got to train from where they film one of the scenes where they're actually doing the urban combat stuff. I got to train there, so it was interesting. So that was a really cool movie that I really loved. But as I started thinking about it, one that really impacted me more than that was Karate Kid 2. Karate Kid 2 was probably one of the most impactful. Karate Kid, the whole Karate Kid 1 and 2, lump them together. Probably one of the most exactly impactful part of my childhood movie was Karate Kid 1 and 2, and they're not hugely and insanely action, but I think that there's enough action in it. There's enough fighting in it to go okay. It would pass. And just like, I mean, it has all the 80s quintessential things for action movies. Has a training montage. It has, learning the secret technique montage. It has, has all the whole thing, and, good versus evil. I really enjoyed it. But yeah.
Yeah. That Daniel LaRusso kid was horribly evil. And, Johnny learning how to deal with him.
Yeah. It was a sad story. It was a very sad story. I'll tell you, there's actually something you can go online and watch. Somebody did a film fiction thing. Yeah. Or
fiction? What are you talking about? Daniel LaRusso was a bully.
He was kind of a bully, but
Daniel LaRusso was the bully.
Maybe.
Johnny was just trying to set things right.
He was trying to get. He was the ex-degenerate. The ex-degenerate. He was the.
That's right.
He 1 year to make it all work. 1 year to make it all work.
He was changing his life, and this little punk comes in
and starts messing with his relationship.
Derails it.
Mhm.
Derails it.
Messing with his girl.
With witchcraft.
Mm-hmm.
He won that tournament with witchcraft.
Yep. Him and Mr. Miyagi was like sacrificing goats to the Satan in the back.
Yes.
That's what it was.
No, man, look, so that takes me. Have you seen like Cobra Kai?
I've only seen it like 2 or 3 episodes, and I haven't watched all of it. And when it gets to Netflix, I'll watch it because it's moving to Netflix, and then I'll watch it then.
It is so good.
Yeah, I'll have to watch it. I'll have to watch it.
Cobra Kai it'll change your flipping life. Cobra Kai. It almost, John, made me want to go back to karate.
Yeah. That's.
And then I remembered it didn't work.
Oh, you can get some hate mail on that one.
I'm just kidding. It can work.
You'll get somebody come in freaking axe kicking
kidding.
you in the throat.
Just kidding. That's Taekwondo, man.
Anyway.
But seriously.
I tell you that movie, right? That movie, the Karate Kid 2, the scenes where he was flying to Japan and all that stuff made me. Well, I remember when I was a kid going, I want to go to Okinawa.
Yeah.
I want to go, and I ended up moving to Okinawa. I went to Okinawa and lived for a year. I was stationed there. So stationed in Okinawa for a year, and then I realized that movie wasn't filmed in Okinawa. It was filmed in Hawaii.
They film a lot of movies in Hawaii that are supposed to be in Okinawa, Japan, places like that.
Yeah,
because the topography is so similar. Karate Kid. I actually read the novel. That's how big of a
there's
geek
a
I
novel.
Was. There was a novel.
Is it after the movie was made? It was like, let's write it, or
it was
right
like
before the movie?
They put it out like with it. It was just another way to make money. I read the novel on the bus, and in all seriousness, when that movie came out, I was getting bullied really bad.
Oh man.
That movie spoke to me. Like I read that. That's a whole other story. I'll have to tell sometime. Because that was very interesting how that whole led to a whole process in my life. But gosh, the Karate Kid movies to this day I think are fantastic, and I'm telling you, the Cobra Kai series is so flipping good, dude, because it'll change your whole outlook on the Karate Kid movies. And on Daniel and Johnny's relationship.
Yeah. The couple episodes I saw, it seemed to be a very interesting dynamic.
Matter of fact, I think I'm going to watch it again.
What's the Karate, the movie or the series? I
think I'm going to start with one, and then go all the way through. I'm not doing that whole little Smith kid thing because that's not.
Oh
Karate
yeah,
Kid.
that was horrible.
It's like Kung Fu. What are you doing?
Yeah,
Call it a Karate Kid. That's like making a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu movie and calling it Fist of Fury.
Yeah.
It doesn't make sense. It's just not the same thing.
Yeah, it's not that thing. And that's the thing is like what I didn't like was the next Karate Kid when they tried to like let's just get another money grab.
Hilary Swank, right?
Yeah, Hilary Swank. Her and all her 55,000 teeth that's in her head, the size of. Yeah, she got some big old teeth. She got them horse teeth, man.
We're sorry, Hillary. I apologize. Hillary.
She got some. I mean, she knows she got some huge teeth. I mean, it's not like it's like me, like somebody going, "Oh, John, you chubby." Like, yes, I know that. I thank you for telling me. I know.
I just, you never know what's gonna happen here, folks.
I'm saying, but you gotta admit, she got some big teeth, don't she? She got some big teeth. And so it's a good thing. Like she got some big teeth and she kind of ugly, but she made it in Hollywood, and that has to be on her acting.
Oh my Lord,
she ugly.
Talk about hate mail.
She ugly, man. I'm telling you, she ugly.
All right, I better bail this out with my action movie. All right, so my action movie. This was really tough.
Mm-hmm.
This was incredibly tough because I love Rambo. I love First Blood.
Yes.
I love all the Rambo movies.
Yes.
But I had to go with a movie that I felt like had impacted even the way we talk. A lot of us that came out of the 80s. So I chose RoboCop.
Oh, man.
I'd buy that for $1.
Is that?
Well, here's why.
Would that be more science fiction than action, though?
There's a lot of shooting in that movie. So
there's a lot of shooting.
It makes action.
There's a lot of shooting.
And I think it checks all the boxes because there is a training montage because he has learning to use his new body.
And that's like 35 seconds in the movie.
Like,
That's it. There's no
there's like
montage.
spiritual aspects, you know. Well, here's why I like RoboCop. Here's why I like RoboCop.
All right.
First off, I still say to this day, "I'll buy that for $1." I still say that to this day. I actually had somebody say that recently. I hadn't said it in a long time, and somebody said it recently. I was like, "Oh my gosh, RoboCop!" It was actually our friend,
yes,
our director friend. Remember that?
George?
Like,
yep. In the stream.
George, that's RoboCop, brother. It's so funny, but there's like that kind of that sadness to it. You know, it's like you know, my man's dead. Like they bring him back like really against his will and turn him into this machine, and he's caught in that place of, you know, battling the machine and his humanity.
Yeah.
And he wants so badly to be with his family, which in the new RoboCop reboot, I think they did I don't normally like reboots, but I thought they did a really good job with that piece. But
I never saw it.
it was good. I liked it. It was actually really good. But I don't know, RoboCop, man, was just, I don't know, man. It's like, who didn't want to, what guy in the 80s didn't want to be just like a one-man wrecking crew machine, man?
Oh, yeah.
And he was like basically invincible. It's like, okay, you tear my part up, we'll just replace it.
Yeah, see, that's the only thing that got me about the movie was that when the scientist is back there, or not the scientist, one of the guys back there, and they like getting rid of his like waste.
Tastes like baby food. Knock yourself out.
Like, was it his waste or was the food he was going to eat? It was something like coming out of, and they ate it. And they ate it, and he's like, "Oh, like baby food." I'm like, "Oh, that's disgusting." Like,
yeah.
After that scarred me. So I don't know. I may be remembering that wrong, but
no, it was like baby food. His food was like baby food.
But was it his food or is it poop?
I think it was. I think it was the food. Yeah, it was definitely the food.
You sure?
It was the food.
Because I thought it was the poop.
I don't know, man, but you automatically tend to go to poop when we start talking.
I'm just saying. I got to deal with what I got. I poop. I have a lot of pooping issues.
I think that was like a baby food, but it was set in Detroit, like future Detroit, and it turns out they were right.
Exactly. That's what Detroit looks like now. That dystopian, just burnt out place. That and St. Paul or wherever the Minneapolis or whatever where the riots are at now, like it's all just
let's do away with our police department. That's a great idea.
Yeah,
what could possibly go wrong?
We need to get RoboCop. We didn't have a RoboCop.
We need you, RoboCop.
Exactly. Come out.
That's their secret plan. Exactly. They're going to defund the police
and bring in RoboCop
with RoboCop. And now I understand what their end game is.
Exactly. Drop it.
We've waxed political. So that's my action film. We'll jump. We'll just go ahead and move into. I've actually been kind of looking forward to this sci-fi. Next category for our 6-7 sci-fi. John,
sci-fi.
What is your sci-fi?
So many sci-fi movies out there in the 80s. They're so good. I love sci-fi. I love weird paranormal stuff and sci-fi. And so with as many sci-fi stuffs out there, there's one that I had to go with because it was the first movie I ever saw, like with my dad in the theater, and it was Dune, 1984. I was 4 years old, and I still remember seeing that movie in the theater with my dad. And at the end of it was when she cut off the Duke's head, what's his name? The big fat guy with the thing.
The Duke of Hazzard?
No, not Duke of Hazzard. It's anyway, the one of the villains, the little girl cut off his head and is like sitting there hanging it up over the steps and stuff. And I was like, oh, that was that was kind of unnerving. And so that was
somebody gonna cut my head off, Daddy?
It was that one I remember seeing, and then there's a scene in Conan the Barbarian where he does the same thing. Boom, boom, he cuts the thing there. And so that was they may have got merged in my mind, but But anyway, Dune is my uh, 80s sci-fi, go-to movie. It hasn't aged well. It really hasn't aged well, but
You know what though? It spawned so many things. It did. I mean, it really. There's a lot that people do in films today that, uh, really you could point to Dune, and had an impact on this whole sci-fi genre in a big way.
yeah.
There's even in film series I'm gonna talk about in a moment, because I'm flipping the script on you, John. I'm flipping the script. You think you know what's coming?
He changing up on me.
I'm flipping the script, and you don't know what's coming. You think you do, but
let's see
in the film series I'm gonna talk about in a moment, the second one in that series that is affectionately referred to as the Renegade version, and is viewed as non-canonical.
Oh yeah, I'm glad. I see. If I'd have thought about that one,
Some very Dune-esque features, which
yes.
So I can't believe I didn't think about this when we were first talking.
I know, me too. I can't believe
it's
that
like
was
one of the. I mean, like part of the reason. Actually, in all seriousness, no joke. The reason I started doing Japanese jiu-jitsu when I was 19 years old is because of this movie.
Oh, yep.
So I guess I should probably tell them what the movie is.
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead and go. I know what it is. Go ahead.
My sci-fi movie. I am immortal. I have inside me blood of kings. I have no rival. No man can be my equal. Highlander.
Exactly.
1986. Highlander.
An amazing movie, man.
I'm Connor McLeod of the Clan McLeod, and I cannot die until he does. If you've watched the whole series, when Adrian Paul's character comes along, Duncan McLeod, people like Duncan better, so they killed off Connor.
That's one thing that drives me crazy. Like, how are they gonna switch up? Like, you took the main character of the whole thing, and let's make it Duncan McLeod, and give him
his cousin.
But like the whole point, like the whole thing is like this: it can be only one. Well, there was only one, and he won the prize.
Connor.
It was Connor because he won the prize. He got to grow old.
Apparently, he didn't.
That's just that's
because look. Go ahead.
No, I was just saying that's what made me so mad about when they did two. Then they did two, and like I said, the Renegade version made more sense a little bit. But with the second one was just stupid. Like, why would you? It's literally like they went, "Oh, this actually was a good movie. We got to tie it up." It's the same thing I think with the Matrix. They went, "Oh, this thing actually worked. We got to figure out some way of tying this up." And they just went, "Let's do something." And they just kind of threw stuff against the wall and saw what stuck. And
Highlander 3 with Mario Van Peebles, the sorcerer, that was good.
Once again, you still got the dudes trapped in the cave for God knows how many years, and then he still didn't win the prize. Like, and he had the prize. He had a kid.
He's gonna win the prize. It's like everybody gets a trophy. Everybody gets the prize. But in all seriousness, that movie series was the reason I went. Like, in my hometown, we had a dojo. And it was like hardcore, like Japanese martial arts. It was back when people were teaching like you know what I'm saying, like legit. Like you go there and get the ever living crap beat out of you night in and night out. And I actually told them when I went, like they want to know what I want to learn. I was like, I want to learn the sword.
I want to be Connor McLeod.
I want to learn the sword. And they were like, well, you can't. We don't start teaching you that until you're like this belt. And I was like, okay. And so I stayed, and I became like a freaking disciple. But he ended up teaching me earlier. This gentleman really became like a grandpa to me. And I literally like was even learning sword and knife in his front yard. And we would go out and do demos, and he would cut things off of me.
Yeah, I remember you talking about this. That's some stupidness right there. I'm just saying that's just dumb.
Like I would lay there. He had this sword. It was a Japanese admiral, not admiral, but like a naval officer sword. It was Lieutenant Tanaka. I remember the name. But I would lay there. I'd take my little gi top off, and I would lay there. And he'd start with a watermelon and cut that off my chest because that was, getting people warmed up. and he'd do a potato, and then he would end with a cucumber in the crook of my neck right here, and he would cut it in half.
Y'all didn't. He didn't like take you on like long trips by yourself or anything, right?
Nah, man, don't go there.
I'm just
don't
asking,
go
like,
there,
because
man.
somebody trying to chop some stuff off your throat, and you let him do it.
Man. you have a whole tribe of people come out of the woodwork.
I'm just asking, man. I don't know the dude. I'm just asking. Like, it's just odd. Like, why would you let somebody cut? Like, why would you let somebody cut something off of
I was young and dumb. You know, I will tell you, like, one of the last times I ever did it, I went home after the demo, and I'm not even kidding. I had like a thin red line right here across my neck.
You know why?
I was like, I think he might have broke skin.
You know why? Because you letting a white dude from freaking, North Carolina cut vegetables off your throat. That's why. That's why you got a line.
What could go wrong? But Highlander, man, to this day. Here's what I love about it, because I love history. You guys who listen know that I was a history teacher, and in all seriousness, it's just the idea of living that long and seeing all the different things, and getting to experience so many things. And I will tell you, that movie genuinely impacted my life as a teenager, as a kid. And I realized as a kid, I actually was like, okay, I can't live 400 years on Earth. That's not going to happen. But I can do everything I want to do and pack in everything I want to do. That's why I do such craziness. That's why I've been a youth pastor, teacher, coach, worship pastor. We own an insurance and financial services company.
Vegetable holder.
We own 2 apparel brands. I'm an author. It's like all of those things that I do. When people look at, they're like, "Why do you do so many things?" Highlander. That's why. I'm not even kidding.
So one of the things I love about Highlander, right, and is this amazing part of that movie, was the soundtrack, which was done by Queen. Queen did the whole soundtrack, and just amazing songs like the Who Wants to Live Forever. Man, that's my jam, dude. That was one of the first songs I absolutely heard. I was like, I love this song. I was a kid when I heard it. What's that? Yeah, exactly. But there's the whole song, the whole soundtrack of
It's a kind of magic
is amazing, and I think it made that movie in a lot of ways. Like, it was such a great soundtrack for it. And there was
Freddie Mercury genuinely liked the film.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know if you've ever heard that before, but he actually loved the movie.
Yeah.
So it really poured himself into it. They actually were only supposed to do one song originally.
Really?
And when he heard the concept of the film, he was like, "Oh no, no, honey, we doing the whole thing."
Yeah. that was a. I mean, it would. Oh, have you heard of Mark Martell?
No.
Oh man, he is a.
Oh yes. I know you're talking about.
So he sounds exactly like Freddie Mercury, like it stinking exactly like Freddie Mercury.
Yes, down here.
Yeah, he's from down here, and we'll try to. I may try to put a clip of him singing that song, "Who Wants to Live Forever." But he does a live version, just one take on a piano. Oh my dang, just amazing.
Of it that will rock your world. It's it's these 3 dudes. I think it is 3 or 4 dudes. It's like one of those groups, like those.
Yeah.
I can't remember. Hold up. You know what? Like we just like gonna live look it up. But it's like a kind of a reimagining of the song, like in the video.
Okay.
Oh, here we go. It is the Tenors. The Tenors version, "Who Wants to Live Forever." There it is, right there on Vivo. But it's like from a vampire perspective.
From a vampire.
Yes, dude. I'm not kidding. It's from a vampire perspective.
Is it like a really,
Like-
really chubby vampire, like living in his mom's basement? It's like, who wants to
man.
live forever? And he got like
You've
cheese
been watching
sauce.
too much Blade.
Exactly like the
That is
Rudy
so
or whatever.
nasty. That's like
Ruby.
the worst, man. It's like, kill that thing, Blade. Kill
I
that
know,
thing.
it's like,
It's like,
oh.
Blade.
Rita, is that you? He's here! He's here!
This must be Pearl, the record keeper.
Oh
Please.
man, that's disgusting. I
Kill
feel
that.
bad. I feel bad for it. I was like, Ruby's like this, whatever its name was. The historian or the archivist, whatever he was doing, just sitting there in a big blob. I felt bad. I was like, man, I feel bad
that's
for it.
that's no life.
Exactly.
Really, who wants to live forever?
Exactly.
Like
'cause
that.
just like but I wonder if he like just stopped eating. Like, would he just lose weight? Like,
if he stopped feeding.
yeah, it's like. But I mean, what's he feeding on? Like his blood. You
Mm.
can't be like. You can't get that fat off this blood. Is he like
maybe
eating
he was
blood?
already like really fat.
He was
It like one of those
rotund.
my 800-pound life situation, and a vampire happened upon him. It was like,
You know what? I got a job for you.
It's like not going anywhere for a while. Oh my gosh. Help us, Lord. Buddy movies.
Oh, buddy. So my buddy movie could be done up as a action movie as well, but it's my favorite buddy movie, and it's a whole genre, and you can just go through the whole thing, but it's Lethal Weapon, so specifically Lethal Weapon 2.
The first time Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu made an appearance on film.
Yes, because it was Horian or Hickson was the
I feel like
choreographer.
it was Hickson.
It was one of them. Was the choreographer on that.
Yep.
On that film. And so you see a triangle choke. You see the last part where he's fighting Mr. Joshua. He's triangle chokes that Joker, and I'm like, I didn't know what even I saw it, but I didn't know what a triangle choke was. I was like, what is this stuff? Like,
we just knew it was amazing.
Yeah, I was like, how did that happen? He choking him with his legs.
Can you do
that? But you watch it now, you're like, oh man, you had a horrible triangle.
It's like he just slipped out of that, man.
But like at first he starts setting up, right? Okay, he's setting up good, and then he's like, grabbing the wrong parts and stuff. Then you see him like on there, and he's got like his legs stretched out like I'm like a scissor choke. I'm like, yeah. Anyway, but we digress. But that was my
It was Horian.
What's that? Horian. I figured it's one of those two.
I looked it up. It was Horian.
Yeah. So I think because Hickson, he didn't come into the movie scene for a while, but Horian he was all about that Hollywood life, man. He was him and his cousin or whatever. They're the ones that started the UFC one. The first UFC.
Yes, I think that's right.
Got it all worked.
The infomercial for Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu.
And it worked.
It worked.
And so so the Lethal Weapons, the dynamic between Murtaugh and Riggs was just like, I loved it. I loved it, man. And my dad loved it, and so it was something we kind of shared together. And there's a song that I still love. It's it's a theme song back when movies still had theme song. Was by Sting and Eric Clapton, and it's I hate to say, it's Probably Me is the name of the song. And it's like, and it starts off with like this, somebody flicking a Zippo lighter open and striking it, and it's just an iconic song, and I love it. And
that's a great series, man. That is truly a fantastic movie. In fact, that man, like I feel like I need to watch that. Go back and watch that again.
They are very good.
Mel Gibson, which turns out he's not acting; he's just really that crazy. But he made some good stuff, man. Yeah. He really, really produced some incredible stuff back in the day. And Lethal Weapon, and in all seriousness, one of the things I love about Lethal Weapon was there was really something there for everybody. And what a great message it had. Really, older African American officers mentoring this guy, brings him into his family. helps him really before the series is done to a great degree find some measure of peace.
Yeah.
It's really a great story, and lots of great action. Obviously, great fight scenes. I'm too old for this. I love it, man.
Something like that.
It's fantastic stuff. It's good stuff. So, moving right along, my friends, into my buddy movie.
Yeah, your buddy. That's what your buddy movie is.
My buddy. Remember those dolls?
My buddy.
My buddy.
Yeah, me. And then after was Kid Sister. Kid Sister. Wherever I go, you're gonna go. Anyway, go. Sorry.
I'm gonna do like I did a while ago. I'm not gonna say the name of the movie.
Oh Lord, here we go.
I'm just gonna say a line from the movie first.
All right, here we go. Let me hear it.
Regulators.
Mount up. It was a clear white bike. Was it a clear something? A clear white moon. Warren G was on the street trying to consume.
Guns,
Mr. Tunstall's got a soft spot
baby.
for runaways. Derelicts, vagrant types.
And two.
But you can't be any geek
both
off
good.
the street. Gotta be handy with the steel if you know what I mean. Earn your keep.
But see, I'm gonna have to throw it off at you, man. That ain't a buddy movie, man. That's a Rat Pack. No, that's not a buddy movie, man.
It is in its essence a buddy movie.
It is
because
not.
What was inscribed on the tombstone? What was inscribed? Say the word.
I don't know. Billy.
Pals.
But see, buddy, that's buddy, not buddy. Like it's like buddy is a too much, like two. Buddy,
you know what, guys out there and guys stuff,
man,
you'll have to help us out here. But I'm feel
saying
like you can have more than one buddy. Maybe you feel like you can only have one close friend
in the movie genre. You can't have
who feel like they can have more than one.
Nope, I'm sorry. I'm calling BS on this one.
Sorry,
it
is my movie.
No, I'm saying you have your movie, but it's not a buddy movie. It may be a Western. It may be a coming of age movie. It could be like a. It's
the last time Charlie Sheen played like a clean character.
Yeah, but he actually was clean. He was this time he had enough cocaine in his system to kill a mule. You had like it could be. It could be in the genre of Red Dawn. That was another great action movie, but not a buddy. You would call Red Dawn a buddy movie? Another Charlie Sheen movie, by the way. Wouldn't call that.
I feel like it's a Patrick Swayze movie.
I mean, it was Patrick Swayze and Charlie Sheen. It was the two guys.
And Jennifer Grey.
And Jennifer Grey had 3 lines in the whole movie. You had Jennifer Grey and Leah Thompson was in it. Both of them. You had all kind of people in there. Was Josh Brolin wasn't in that one? I don't think either. He wasn't in that one.
I respect your opinion.
Yeah,
but I disagree.
I respect your opinion to be wrong. I respect that you're wrong.
I'm keeping it as my buddy movie. I feel like it is a buddy movie.
It's a great movie. It's a great movie.
It is. Here's the thing about movies. To me, the way you know a movie is good or bad, if you will, is how it stands the test of time. And the greats stand the test of time. I don't care what decade they're made in. And you can watch Young Guns today. It's still good. I mean, it is still good. There's just so many elements of that movie. And was it Emilio Estevez? Was that the one that played Billy the Kid? Is that
Emilio Estevez?
He just absolutely was amazing. He just killed it, literally. I love that. Law don't go around here. Law don't go around. He looked like he was genuinely having a good time playing that character, man. I mean, I don't know. I feel you, but I still feel like it's a buddies movie.
Yeah, it's him and his brothers. So it's like Emilio Estevez and Charlie Sheen's brothers. It's a brother movie, but that could be their buddy movie. It could be like the two brothers in real life movie, playing there,
which is interesting.
Yeah, it's like that's one thing that's crazy. Like I didn't know they were brothers until like I was up in my 20s, and they're like, oh, they're brothers. I'm like, really? Like, because one's Charlie Sheen and one's Emilio Estevez. It's like he's like Puerto Rican or something. Like, how is he? Like,
people can have different parents.
Yeah, but like they looked the same. Like it was not like me and my brother. We have different dads, same mom. We don't look the same. It's like they look.
DNA's a funny thing, man.
Exactly,
DNA is a funny thing, you know.
But no, I
does different things with
think they're
different
from the
people.
same mama. They from the same mama. I think they're
They
from
got
the same
daddy.
Yeah, it's Martin Sheen.
Is both their daddies?
Yes, it's both their daddies. Martin Sheen
And
is Charlie.
They got the same mama or different mama?
Same mama.
Then how come homeboy is Estevez?
That's what I'm saying. I think it's like some weird, like his mother's maiden name or something. I don't know, but it's like, look that up. We need to look that up. Let me see here. I'm gonna look it up.
All right, yeah. Like
keep talking. Let me look this up.
We must turn aside and see this site.
Emilio Estevez. Let's see.
We're racing now. Let's see whose internet's faster, Thailand or America's.
Well, I'm already on Wikipedia, so let's see.
Wikipedia, this place where everything's like accurate. Charlie Sheen is not Charlie Sheen's real name. His real name is Carlos Erwin Estevez.
Really?
Yes.
There you go.
Known professionally as Charlie Sheen.
That makes sense now.
That is how that works.
We thought Emilio was the crazy one.
And then we should have known all along
that
it was Charlie.
Yep. Charlie Sheen.
Well, there you go, folks. You heard it on the Guy Stuff podcast. Our work here is done.
Exactly. That's one of the things I don't get to. Like, why you got to go like acting and change your name?
Like, sometimes your name is unwieldy. Like, my name is long. Like, my full name is Mark Anthony Claiborne.
But your name's Mark Anthony.
Name.
It's like, my name is Mark Anthony. Mark Anthony Claiborne.
Boy already made a bunch of money with my name. So
I'm just saying, but or you can be like this Mark. My name's Mark Claiborne. You know, like nobody. Like there's many names out there that are like weird. That why do you got to change your name to be an actor? Your real name's not going to be used in the movie. Why the crap you got to change your name?
I think I'm going to change my name to Julio Iglesias Hernandez Ramirez.
There you go. Juan Villalobos Ramirez. Which that's another thing. To the Highlander thing. Why did they like Ramirez was a Spaniard who was supposed to be Egyptian, played by a Scottish dude? Like, what the crap was up with that? They had.
You're just speaking blasphemous words now.
I'm just saying, man. I mean,
you're speaking against Sean Connery.
Did it not bother you that he was Juan Villalobos? What his name was? It was
because Sean Connery
Spaniard
is the OG.
But yeah, he was OG, but he was supposed to be he was a Spaniard that was supposed to be Egyptian. I was Egyptian, blah 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 blah. You know, and then he
he was Egyptian first, and then he became a Spaniard.
But his name was not Flan Villalobos, whatever it was. He
changed it.
Connor McLeod was still Connor McLeod the whole time.
Yeah, his was easier to say. Maybe when he was Egyptian, his name was like Amun Rahman.
But he's still a white Scottish dude. Like, he's not like
tan.
He's like it's not like he was like, oh, you could be kind of Egyptian. You're like, you literally are the whitest race you can possibly be. There's like
suspending disbelief. Here's a fun fact for you. You know the beginning of the movie where like it's Sean Connery's voice giving the monologue?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And it's like got that echoey reverb.
Yeah.
Do you know why it has that echoey reverb?
He's in the bathroom?
He's in the bathroom. True story.
They
needed him to do that part, and he was in the bathroom, and he was like, all right, he's recorded in the bathroom.
That's amazing. That's what we're doing here in the podcast.
No, we do. Yeah, this is we record in the bathroom.
This is actually my toilet back here. There's a shower.
Mine too. I like to read.
Mm-hmm. I like to read.
Bathroom.
Yeah. All right, so where we at? Where we at?
Embarrassing number 7 of our 6-7 movies from the 80s. Our embarrassing movie that is not really a guy movie, but we're gonna just share with you that we happen to flip in love and we're okay. And John, you're up first.
Yeah, this is a hard one. Not a hard one. I mean, it took me about 10 seconds to go, oh yeah, I'm a little bit ashamed of that one, but I still love the movie, and it would have to be Steel Magnolias. That is one of my favorite movies growing up was Steel Magnolias because it was a Southern movie. It was like, in the South, but it was a bunch of females. It's a bunch of lives and females and the Magnolias, kind of thing. So that I'm a little bit ashamed of, but I still love it. And so I still will watch it now. If it came on, or if I could find it on Netflix, I'd watch it. And so
I'm pretty sure my mom liked that movie back in the day.
My mom loved it.
She also liked any movie with what's her name? No, what Julia Roberts. She loved Julia Roberts. To this day, like every movie Julia Roberts ever made is at my parents' house.
See, Julia Roberts, she's beautiful, got some big old mouth, huge mouth, but don't have them big teeth. Like Hilary Swank had some big old teeth. But
we're gonna get a call from like Hilary Swank's publicist and like ask us to retract that.
And I'd be like, no, you ugly. She ugly. I mean, she's a great actress.
I actually think that she's ugly. I don't think she's ugly.
You've been hitting the head too many times because that chick is ugly. She ugly. She is ugly. Like
Steel Magnolias, eh? Mine.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Sorry. Yeah. Steel Magnolias. But like with the scene, like I remember, I still get like a little like messed me up when I was a kid. Julia Roberts dying at the end of that. I was like, oh man, she died. I get all sad eyed and stuff. And she's trying to hold her kid, and this falls out. And remember, she's in the beauty shop, and she starts like seasoning out. And she like had like a season out, and she had to like give her orange juice, which I've never understood. Like when somebody like starts seasoning out and the blood sugar drops, they like start cussing at you and like start getting mad at. Like I don't understand like why that. I never understood the part of it that happened there. I mean, it was like so you've seen Steel Magnolias, right?
Yeah, it's been a hot minute, but yeah.
You remember her like seasoning out in the barbershop chair?
I can actually see the picture of it in my head.
And then she was like cussing her mom out. She cut her. She's like, I'm gonna hit you in the. It's her and.
So did she have Tourette's as well?
No, she didn't have Tourette's. She was like she was like she was doing her hypoglycemic whatever it was, kind of thing.
Because I know there's like a form of Tourette's where people will do that. They'll cuss like
Yeah, Tourette, but she didn't have Tourette's. She can't die from Tourette's. Unless you like, you just cuss somebody else. This is it, man.
I don't know.
Anyway, she didn't have Tourette's. She had like low blood sugar or something was messed up with her sugar, and she had the sugars.
Low blood sugar can be rough. Like there was literally one time, man. We were training I did the morning classes at the academy, and I had not done anything like normally try to do a smoothie before I went and whatnot.
Yeah.
I didn't have anything in me, man, and my blood sugar plummeted. And I was in the changing room. We'd already trained, and my blood sugar had plummeted. Oh, yeah. I was going away from that place. I was literally in my underwear. Sorry, guys, for that mental image. I crawled on my hands and knees to the refrigerator in the office and opened it up and reached up and found a half-drink Coca-Cola. I don't know whose it was. I didn't care. And I rolled on my back and popped that thing open and just poured it down, man. Poured it down. Yeah. Man, low blood sugar, man, it'll mess you up.
Yeah, I think she was diabetic. I think she like didn't get insulin. But
my mind just dropped.
Yeah, that happens, man. That happens. But yeah, exactly. So anyway, that's my embarrassing one was Steel Magnolias. What's your embarrassing one there?
Well, my embarrassing one, and I'm not gonna say the name again. I'm just gonna say a quote from the movie.
Okay.
Nobody puts baby in the corner.
What?
Dirty Dancing.
Oh,
nobody puts baby in the corner. Man, I love Dirty Dancing so much. I'm not gonna lie about it. And here's what part of why I love it so much is because my wife's favorite movie. And when when it actually hit the theaters a couple of years ago, they put it back in theaters.
Really?
And I took her on this date.
Really?
Because when you think about it, like, back in the 80s, it's like, we didn't know each other. We didn't even know who each other was until like 1990.
Yeah.
And so it's like, we were living these separate lives, enjoying these different things. It's like, it's like we can share this theater experience that we didn't share back then because we didn't know each other yet. And so We went to the theater and watched the movie. It was so good, man. We even have the Dirty Dancing soundtrack on vinyl.
Ooh, wow.
Every guy's got that movie, though, that they secretly love but don't really want anybody to know that they love. Mine is Dirty Dancing. I got a romantic side to me. I'm a little bit of a romantic fool. I like dancing. I actually like dancing. I feel like dudes should know how to dance, properly dance. The only thing sad about Dirty Dancing, there's a spoiler alert for you. They did not end up together.
Really?
Yes. There's a sequel movie that tells the rest of the story.
There's a sequel to it?
There's a sequel, but it was based on what was written by the actual writer, and that the intent was not for them to stay together. They did not stay together. She meets him later in New York at a show with her family and husband. It is sad. Sad.
Makes sense. Makes sense.
That's my show, man. That's my movie, man. So,
hey, whatever floats your boat, man. Whatever floats your boat. And mine's still Magnolia. Yours at least had some, hot Jennifer Grey. Mine had a bunch of
yeah. Actually, the lovely woman I married kind of favors Jennifer Grey.
Maybe
everybody thought she looked like her back in the day. So, anyways, guys, that's with this. I mean, nothing deeply theological about our discussion today, except maybe John's paranormal experiences. Yeah, that we'll talk about another day.
Exactly.
We just thought it'd be fun to hang out and talk about our 6-7 movies from the 80s that we enjoyed. And we hope that you have just enjoyed hanging out with us. And we appreciate you guys spending time with us on the reg. If you've not yet subscribed to the YouTube channel, what are you waiting for?
Go subscribe, man. Click the subscribe button.
Stop being like a passive male and just click the subscribe button.
And also like and comment. Make some dumb comments. Like cuss one of us out. Do something, because the more you comment, we want to
hear from you guys.
Yeah, exactly. We want to hear from you. Like if it's done here from you, it's just us talking with some other dude sometimes. We need some
we need to hear from you.
Exactly. We want to hear from you. So
on the Facebook page, we need to hear from you.
Yes,
we want to hear what you guys have to say. Just don't post up weird stuff. If you want to post a picture of you cooking, that's fine. We like that kind of stuff. Your motorcycle, your car. Don't be posting. We don't know weird stuff, but we want to hear from you guys.
Yeah.
Thanks for hanging out and being part of the Guy Stuff family and our 6-7 movies from the 80s episode. Talk to you soon.
God bless.